What's up, guys? Zinigami here, and do you know what's happening on New Year's Eve? That's right, Doflamingo is gonna come out to Global One Piece Treasure Cruise, and everyone's freaking the heck out because they don't know if they can handle Doflamingo. Right now, I'm gonna tell you guys, a lot of people probably are not gonna be able to handle him the first time around. A lot of people are gonna be struggling. Maybe they'll barely kill him every other run. Maybe they're gonna have to spend one gem every time they try to kill him. But it's going to be very hard for most people to kill him right away because he is one of the hardest raid bosses in the game. But don't worry, let me go over some teams that you can use, a couple free-to-play teams and a couple Gear 3 teams. So that way you know what you want to be focusing on in the next just under 2 weeks. That way you can be ready. The first team we're going to look at is right here. And the basics for each team is that you want Golden Pound Usopp Max. Golden Pound Usopp Max makes a huge difference. You're going to bring 1 to 2 damage reducers, and you're going to use 3 to 4 attackers. Damage reducers are these characters I have right here. Jozu, Alvida, and Perona are going to be your 3 damage reducers. You're going to use 1 or 2 of those. You only use 2 of them if you're like using a Gear 3 team. You can use 2 damage reducers on a Gear 3 team. Otherwise, you're only going to use 1 of them. The best one that you can use most of the time is going to be Jozu because he completely negates damage. And Perona will be 2nd place, and Alvida will be 3rd place. In most situations, Gear 3 makes some different things happen. And the reason we want Golden Pound Usopp Max is that Golden Pound Usopp, you can use him on Stage 4, and then you'll have him ready whenever you can use him again on Doflamingo after Doflamingo's debuff reduction goes away, or debuff protection goes away. So it's very, very important to have Golden Pound Usopp Max. If you don't have Golden Pound Usopp Max, you have to either A, stall out 3 extra turns early on, or you only have 14 turns to stall safely. And 14 turns is a huge difference between 17 turns. And this is one of the main, this raid is one of the like big reasons you want Golden Pound Usopp Max, because he's just so good. We're gonna go over those characters later. This is the Blackbeard team. And Blackbeard can handle Doflamingo. The only thing is you need to have Marco, and Marco needs to have around a 25 turn cooldown if you get lucky with the early stages, or a 22 turn cooldown is still to be safe with Marco. And the reason is you can use Alvida. You can either try to use Alvida and reduce the damage that you take from that first attack from Doflamingo's, which you'll take about you'll take the 18,000 damage from 18,000 damage from Doflamingo, which will be okay. And then you can use Marco. You can use Blackbeard on the 2nd time around with Marco before that attack. Or if you have Marco ready, you can use the key is to use Marco before you take the full hit and use Blackbeard to reflect that hit. And then the Monster Chopper is just there because he gives you the most health you can. And a max Marine ship makes a big difference. With a Marco team, with a Blackbeard team, that Marco right there is going to be your real key on when you can take the hit from Doflamingo himself. I've never actually used a Blackbeard team, but I will have a Blackbeard team available, and we will be running it whenever Doffy comes out, so I'll have a guide up for that later. This is Whitebeard Island team. This is our free-to-play Mihawk team. And a free-to-play Mihawk team, most people will have access to everyone except for Mr. 1 here. Mr. 1 actually makes a big difference in how well you do. Golden Pound Usopp, once again, maxed out because if you have Golden Pound Usopp, you can actually use Mihawk the moment that you get to Doflamingo's. Without Golden Pound Usopp, you can't use Mihawk until you're gonna have 3 turns on cooldown by the time you actually get to Doflamingo, because you'll basically stall for exactly 17 turns, and you want to have as much health as you can because right away Doflamingo will cut your health in half, and when he does that, you're with Perona stall and Mr. 3 to take Mr. 1 to take a hit also, you're going to be able to live with just a sliver health, take 2 attacks, and actually return damage with Mr. 1 to increase your damage too. So Mr. 1 is quite nice. If you don't have Mr. 1 for this team, you can always try to do some extra damage by putting in, for example, Fossa. Fossa works quite well because he'll increase your Arlong damage and boost your attack too. You can also put in Koza if you think you can be aggressive enough to do damage to him. Or you can try to bring in just another damage reducer like Jozu and try to do it. And if you are going to bring a damage reducer like Jozu or someone else, make sure you have 2 of your non-slashers in the middle row, because the top Doflamingo will lock your middle row if he survives for until the 4th turn, I believe it is. Monster Chopper team. Monster Chopper team is probably the team that a lot of people are going to be using because it's one of the easier teams you can use. I'm going to just slide you down there because I like having you in this position, just as personal preference in general. Monster Chopper team is one of the easier teams to use because most people will have access to them. But here's the real trick. The real trick of the Monster Chopper team is that you really have to be careful with how much health you have, and you cannot take any damage to stall. So you really need that Golden Pound Usopp max. Remember that right away, Doflamingo will half your health. So cut your health in half. If you use a Perona, the amount you need to have when entering Doflamingo is 3,600 health. So if you have less than 3,600 health, you will die if you use Perona. If you use Alvida, you need over 7,200 health. That's actually a lot of health for a Monster Chopper team. Alvida is almost useless on a Monster Chopper team unless you take a big hit to try to use Alvida on a Monster Chopper team. Because right now, this team will have what is this? 2,000, 5,000, 6,300 health. Maybe it's about just over 7,000 health with this team right here. So if I put Alvida in here, I won't be able to use her. She is worthless. So a Jozu makes a big difference on a Monster Chopper team. And Perona, you have to have over a certain amount of health. Now you can barely get a little bit of damage off, and Perona on Monster Chopper means you only need 3,600 health, because you're going to take half your health in damage, and then you're going to take 10% of 1,800. So you're going to take 1,800 damage with the Perona. Which doesn't sound like much, but whenever you're using a Monster Chopper, that's actually a lot of health. And then our easiest team, of all, Gear 3. Super easy. All you need to do is hit your perfects with Gear 3. If you can hit your perfects, you'll do fine. Because Gear 3 means you have 2 good strength characters. I'm using the wrong ship for some reason here. Let's just fix that. Don't want to advise you. Don't want people to look at that and go, well, maybe I should use Mihawk's ship. Yes, Perona is the free-to-play option, and she works okay, but Jozu is just much safer, because if you take any damage on accident with a Monster Chopper team and you use Perona, you're basically dead. Because anything that hits you on the early stages will put you below 3,600 health most likely, and you'll just be dead. Whereas a Jozu, if you accidentally take damage, you can still use Jozu and be okay. So that's the big thing with Monster Chopper teams, is that if you take any damage at all in the early stages, chances are you might as well just quit because you've probably died. Double Gear 3 teams. The key thing of Double Gear 3 teams is this is where these numbers up here matter. It's 2 Gear 3s, 1 or 2 strength characters, Golden Pound Usopp, and 1 or 2 damage reducers. Now, if you watch my walkthrough video that's up online right now, you'll see that I use Stronghold Frankie. And all of these characters right here are an excellent replacement for Stronghold Frankie. All these characters right here. And Alvida actually works really well in the Gear 3 team because Alvida doubles as damage. If you get a matching orb on Alvida, she actually does some very respectable damage. And you can also use her to reduce damage on Doffy if you need an extra turn or two. So you can bring Alvida on the Gear 3 team. She works great. Blamenko helps you manipulate orbs, which is great. Kuma gives you 2 strength orbs, which is good. You can't get 3 out of it because you're going to be using some damage reducers. Kid gives himself an orb and has a pretty nice attack value. Mr. 1 reduces damage and boosts the attack of himself, and if you have Arlong on up, or at least he gives himself an attack boost too. And Fossa, which is probably the niftiest one, gives you a 50% attack boost to strength characters for 1 turn, which is, of course, very nice. That's basically an orb boost that you always, or just like an orb booster, but always on, because you don't have to have a matching orb for it. So all of these characters right here are an excellent replacement for that Stronghold Frankie that you saw on my walkthrough video. That's how it is. It's going to be Gear 3, Golden Pound Usopp, 1 or 2 damage reducers, and then 1 or 2 other strength characters on your Gear 3 team. Monster Chopper, of course, is a great character because Monster Chopper Special does... it it can do as low as only 30,000 damage, but it can do upwards of 400,000 damage on... I think it's 400,000. Maybe it's only like 300,000 damage, but... No, I think it's maybe 350,000 damage on a Dex character like Doffy. But it's a pretty respectable amount of damage if you have your Monster Chopper max. And Monster Chopper hits really hard. It's got an excellent attack value. Kuma gives you 2 orbs. I'm just going to be swapping around my characters when I do this on stream. But that'll be your main teams. Gear 3 is the easiest team if you have that one available to you. Monster Chopper is the easiest free-to-play team. Mihawk works, but it's a little bit shaky because you'll be quite surprised the difference that a Mihawk team makes if you have that Mr. 1 or not. Without Mr. 1, it actually does get a little bit dicey there. But Mihawk teams absolutely will work. And you might be able to pull it off if you have like a Jozu or an Alvida instead of that Mr. 1. But Mr. 1 makes a big difference on a Mihawk team. And then there's Blackbeard team, which I haven't actually done, but I am looking forward to because now I actually have Marco to use. So anyways, guys, that's all the teams that I recommend. There are definitely other teams that work, and especially Whitebeard or Rayleigh teams. Absolutely, a Rayleigh team, you just use the exact same thing as Gear 3, but I would actually recommend you use one Rayleigh and one Gear 3 because, of course, Luffy does extra damage to Doflamingo. And Whitebeard is super easy. If you get those levels in that Whitebeard, you could kill him in one turn pretty... Well, there are several teams that you can use Whitebeard that just kills both Doflamingo on the very first turn. Or maybe the second turn. Anyways, guys, those are the teams. Use them. Get ready. Prepare yourselves. I've been Zenigami. Good luck with Doflamingo on New Year's. And y'all stay... Oh! I burped. Y'all stay beautiful. Whew!